In the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean, where the world's busiest shipping lanes cut through deep blue waters, a dramatic new chapter in U.S.-Iran tensions was about to unfold. This was not just another day at sea, but the setting for a high-stakes military operation that would reverberate across continents. In November 2025, as the sun rose over the horizon, a fleet of U.S. Navy warships moved with purpose, their mission shrouded in secrecy. The world's attention was elsewhere, but in these waters, history was being made. U.S. Special Forces, trained for precision and speed, boarded a commercial vessel sailing from China to Iran, hundreds of miles off the coast of Sri Lanka. The operation was meticulously planned, with every detail accounted for. Acting on precise intelligence gathered over weeks, the Americans targeted a shipment they believed posed a significant threat to regional security. Satellite images, intercepted communications, and human sources all pointed to this single ship. The boarding was swift and professional. Within minutes, the team had secured the ship and its crew, ensuring there were no casualties or unnecessary escalation. The professionalism on display was a testament to years of training and preparation. Their objective was clear: confiscate sensitive cargo suspected of being destined for Iran's military, not to seize the vessel or detain its crew. The Americans worked methodically, searching containers for prohibited materials. After removing the materials in question, the Americans allowed the ship to continue its journey, sending a message that their quarrel was not with innocent sailors, but with those fueling Iran's military ambitions. This bold act sent a clear and unmistakable message to Tehran and its suppliers. The United States would go to great lengths to disrupt Iran's military procurement networks wherever they might operate, even far from the Persian Gulf. Unlike previous maritime standoffs, this was the first known U.S. military interception of Chinese-origin cargo bound for Iran. It marked a significant escalation, adding a new and complex layer to the already tense geopolitical rivalry between Washington, Tehran, and Beijing. The incident quickly drew global attention, with headlines flashing across news networks and analysts debating its implications. It signaled a more assertive American posture and a strategic shift, one that reached far beyond the familiar waters of the Persian Gulf to sever Iran's supply lines at their source. Around the world, governments and citizens alike watched closely, waiting to see how Iran would respond to this direct and very public challenge to its ambitions. As the sun set over the Indian Ocean, the stage was set for a renewed and potentially volatile cycle of tension in the region, one whose consequences could ripple far beyond these waters. The intercepted cargo wasn't finished weapons, nor was it a shipment of obvious military hardware. Instead, it was something just as critical: sodium perchlorate, a seemingly ordinary chemical with extraordinary implications. This compound is a key ingredient for solid missile fuel, making it absolutely essential for Iran's ballistic missile program. Without it, the rockets that form the backbone of Iran's arsenal simply cannot fly. U.S. intelligence agencies, working with international partners, traced the shipment to Iranian companies deeply involved in missile development and production. These firms operate under layers of secrecy, often using front companies to mask their true activities. The operation to intercept the cargo was a targeted strike against Iran's supply chain, aiming to slow missile production and curb regional threats. It required precise coordination between naval forces, intelligence analysts, and diplomatic channels. The timing was crucial, just after the United Nations reimposed a ban on Iran's arms trade and missile support, tightening restrictions that had been loosened in previous years. Despite these renewed sanctions, Chinese firms had reportedly delivered thousands of tons of sodium perchlorate to Iran, enough to fuel hundreds of missiles. These shipments often slipped through the cracks of international monitoring. The November seizure was only a fraction of what actually reached Iran, highlighting the immense challenge of enforcing sanctions in a world of globalized trade and complex supply chains. The U.S. move was a clear attempt to physically sever these supply lines, sending a strong signal to both China and Iran that military force would back up diplomatic pressure when necessary. The message was unmistakable: the U.S. is willing to act directly to halt missile proliferation, using every tool at its disposal to prevent the spread of dangerous technology. The November interception was part of a broader, more aggressive U.S. maritime strategy. The U.S. now actively disrupts Iran's smuggling networks, moving from passive monitoring to direct intervention. This approach has global reach. U.S. forces have seized sanctioned oil tankers off Venezuela and intercepted missile parts bound for Yemen's Houthis. Iran calls these actions piracy, framing them as illegal violations of sovereignty and economic warfare. The U.S., meanwhile, justifies them as enforcement of international sanctions and national security. This clash of narratives, law enforcement versus piracy, plays out on the world's oceans. Each side uses the incidents to rally support and shape global opinion. After the U.S. seizure, many expected Iran to retaliate by capturing an American ship. Historically, Iran has responded to U.S. actions with symmetrical escalation, often targeting foreign-flagged tankers. Yet, as of late December 2025, there's no credible evidence Iran has seized a U.S. vessel in response. Such a move would risk direct conflict with Washington, a step Tehran appears unwilling to take for now. Instead, Iran may be opting for less direct responses through proxies, cyber attacks, or accelerating its military programs. The narrative of Iran capturing an American ship remains more anticipation than fact. For now, the standoff is defined by American action and Iranian restraint. Lacking a direct military response, Iran has turned to propaganda. The IRGC has released dramatic videos of naval drills and simulated ship seizures, projecting strength and defiance. These visuals remind the world of Iran's ability to disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, a veiled threat to global commerce. Iran frames U.S. actions as piracy, seeking to delegitimize American moves and win sympathy from non-aligned nations. This information campaign is a form of asymmetrical warfare, allowing Iran to appear strong without risking open conflict. It's a battle for the narrative, designed to deter further U.S. action while avoiding all-out war. Iran's performance of power is carefully calibrated for maximum effect. These maritime confrontations unfold amid escalating regional tensions. In June 2025, U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran's nuclear and missile sites brought the region to the brink of war. Israel remains on high alert, vowing to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Iran's support for proxy forces across the Middle East, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and others, adds to the instability. U.S. interceptions of Iranian arms shipments to these proxies show how the conflict spills into the maritime domain. Meanwhile, Iran faces internal unrest, with attacks on security forces fueling government anxiety. Domestic pressures complicate Tehran's decision-making, making foreign crises both a risk and a potential rallying point. The region remains a powder keg, with every move scrutinized for its potential to ignite wider conflict. Beyond ship seizures, a quieter contest rages in military technology, especially drones. Iran's investment in low-cost drones like the Shahed series has changed modern warfare and become a key export. In December 2025, Iran mocked the U.S. for allegedly copying its drone designs, highlighting a shift in technological power. Iranian drones have been used extensively by Russia in Ukraine, deepening the Tehran-Moscow alliance and providing battlefield data. These drones are cheap, hard to defend against, and easily proliferated to proxies, complicating U.S. and allied defenses. The U.S. adoption of similar designs is a tacit admission of their effectiveness. Technological superiority is no longer the West's exclusive domain, raising new challenges for future conflicts. The Indian Ocean incident is more than a U.S.-Iran dispute. It's a flashpoint that reveals the complex, interconnected nature of modern geopolitics. It's a sign of a shifting global order, where regional events can quickly escalate into international crises. The seizure of Chinese cargo bound for Iran pulls Beijing directly into the standoff, further straining already tense U.S.-China relations and complicating diplomatic efforts. Meanwhile, Iran's deepening military partnership with Russia forms a new axis opposed to U.S. interests, signaling a realignment of power in the region. These growing alliances mean that any U.S.-Iran confrontation now risks drawing in other major powers, creating the potential for a much wider entanglement. The stakes are higher than ever, with every move watched closely by governments and militaries around the world. The Middle East is now a multipolar arena, where proxy wars, internal unrest, and shifting alliances create a volatile and unpredictable environment. Great power competition feeds instability, as rival nations test each other's resolve and seek to expand their influence. A single ship seizure in one region can send shockwaves across continents, disrupting trade routes and diplomatic relations far beyond the original flashpoint. The consequences can be felt from the Caspian Sea to the battlefields of Ukraine, linking distant conflicts in unexpected ways. The struggle is about more than just cargo, it's a contest over influence, resources, and the rules that govern the world. At stake are the future of international law, the effectiveness of sanctions, and the ability of nations to enforce their will. Ultimately, it's about the global balance of power, and who will shape the next chapter of world affairs. The world watches the Indian Ocean, aware that the outcome here could set precedents for future conflicts and cooperation. As tensions mount, everyone waits for the next move in this high-stakes game, knowing that the decisions made now could echo for years to come.